In our modern world, communication is faster than ever. While these advancements in technology hold endless benefits, they are not without downsides. One of these disadvantages is the speed at which factually incorrect information can be spread and accepted as truth. The myths spread during the COVID-19 pandemic and vaccine development played a huge role in vaccine hesitancy. Many people who are vaccinated against other types of infection developed real fears that receiving the vaccine would lead to detrimental side effects or even death. This seemed to cause a global mistrust in the vaccine, leading to many refusing it. Two myths that seemed to make an impact in people's minds and sway the public out of favor regarding the COVID-19 vaccination was that it resulted in infertility and that the vaccine was created too quickly. Therefore, it couldn't be studied well enough to know the adverse effects or effectiveness against the virus. When addressing these concerns from the public, it's important to remain non-judgmental and respectful of their concerns. Here are some helpful tips when addressing these concerns. When addressing concerns regarding myths floating in the media, approach the discussion with respect and in a professional manner. Refrain from laughing or not taking the individual seriously. Avoid any comments such as, "You actually believe that?" or "Those are just crazy rumors." You want to ensure you do not undermine the individual's concerns or make them feel foolish for their questions. It's important to listen to the entirety of the individual's concerns, then address their concerns in an organized manner and to address single points at a time to avoid any confusion. You should address their concerns and give answers based on evidence. Never argue with an individual. For decades, scientists and medical professionals have known that some viruses, such as measles, can reduce fertility. One misconception emerged about the COVID-19 vaccine in that it would result in infertility for both men and women. This was very scary to many, especially those planning to conceive in the future. There have been many studies looking at the correlation between the vaccine and infertility. I am pleased to tell you that no correlation has been found. One study conducted in 2020 to 2021 included both males and females between the ages of 21 to 45 who were actively trying to get pregnant. By the end of this study, 73% of the women and 74% of men had been vaccinated with at least their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Those who received the vaccine showed no decrease in fertility rates. There have also been other studies looking at this same issue. The results have been consistent. The vaccine's effects and ingredients have no impact on fertility in men or women. Now, while the vaccine itself does not seem to impact fertility, it was found that getting infected with SARS-CoV-2 virus may negatively impact fertility, especially in men. Studies showed that males who had been infected with SARS-CoV-2 in the past 60 days were less likely to conceive. Getting infected with COVID-19 also seems to have a negative effect on fertility and pregnancy, as COVID-19 during pregnancy can lead to potentially fatal complications for both mother and baby. It appears that preventing COVID-19 is the best way to reduce the impact the virus can have on fertility. That, in itself, may be a good reason for those who would like to start a family to get vaccinated. Another common misconception is that the vaccines were developed too quickly, and that the normally stringent FDA requirements were pushed aside. For some patients, these are real concerns and must be acknowledged as such. Thankfully, we can provide some comfort to them. There is a long history that provides the foundation of mRNA vaccine development, which may be even older than some of our adult patients. Messenger RNA, or mRNA, was actually discovered in the early 1960s. Research into how mRNA could be delivered into cells was developed in the 1970s. The first mRNA vaccines were developed against the deadly Ebola virus. But since that virus is only found in a limited number of African countries, it had no commercial development in the United States. Human studies of mRNA vaccines for cancer treatment started in 2006 and have been tested in small trials for nearly a decade with some promising early results. In fact, Scientists at both Pfizer BioNTech and Moderna drew on their experience developing mRNA cancer vaccines to create the coronavirus vaccines. The first mRNA vaccines for rabies began testing in humans in 2013. In each of these studies, the vaccines were found to be generally safe, with injection site reactions being the most common adverse event. The mRNA vaccine is a template or a shell that can be easily adapted to different pathogens or even cancers. Imagine the frame of a new car. It can be modified to put in different types of seats and other interior items, but the car itself is not a new invention. That's a good analogy to the mRNA vaccine concept. The delivery vehicle is the same. It is only the immune target that is different. mRNA is not a new concept, and it has been around for decades, with likely more uses to come in the future. Whether or not the encounter changes their mind on receiving a COVID-19 vaccine, it is most important to remain respectful and always maintain that it is solely up to the patient and what decision they make regarding their health. Patient handouts regarding vaccination series may be very informative to give to patients. For patients starting a multi-dose vaccine, it may be useful to talk about setting reminders, whether it be the patient setting personal reminders or having a pharmacy contact them when it's time to receive the next vaccination. Together, we can help reduce the burden of vaccine-preventable diseases in our communities. For more information, please visit the A Shot for Alabama webpage at ashotforalabama.com.